Okay, I think we're live.
Yes,
Hi,
we are live.
GP.
Welcome.
Gejo.
Mm,
Hi, GP. Hi,
mm.
Gejo. Good evening. It'll be great to see if we're audible, visible, and everything. Would love to see the students come and say a hello, hi. Um, I'm sure there are a lot of questions at this point in time, considering 2 days back or what? Yesterday, the sample paper came out, right? Or day
Yes.
before at night, whatever you want to call it, the sample paper came out. There are a lot of questions related to that. Okay, yeah. So Priyanshu is saying yes. Meher is saying yes. So I'm guessing we're audible and visible. All good.
Mm,
Okay. Thanks for that, Priyanshu.
mm,
So guys, welcome to 10 days to cat. I have just come in. जरूरत होती है दो का तीन बना दिया. कोई एक अच्छा नंबर आता है 3, lucky number. वैसे Jijo and GP are going to take this session. Just ensuring that there is a good number here with 3. So I'll just open it up completely. We have a presentation here of 8-10 slides that we feel we generally talk about over the last 10 days कि actually क्या करना चाहिए and more importantly क्या नहीं करना चाहिए. But before that, probably we can go ahead and kickstart with the elephant in the room, the big elephant, which is the cat sample paper. So GP Jijo, over to you all. Your take on the sample paper. Probably I can start with Jijo, considering the first change was in verbal. So yeah.
So I'm going to I'm going to read what is written in the disclaimer, right? It says the objective of this mock test is not to disclose the exam pattern of CAT 2024. God knows and why they gave the paper. Okay. And the number, type, and pattern of question, as well as sequence and timing of a section in the mock, are only indicative, and these are subject to variation from year to year decided by CAT authorities. Right. So it has started with such a sort of vague disclaimer that I don't know what this sample paper is doing. So now, if I look at the sample paper, I think that each of the 3 sections by 40 minutes. In the DLR section, I think there was 22 questions, I believe, right? And added, I think, one more set. And in the VA, seems to be no questions on. I think the sentence placement one.
Missing sentence.
Uh, uh,
FIV,
mm,
missing sentence.
okay, and then but the other thing is that the questions were all jumbled, which is like it was not like the VA came towards the end. I believe that it started with a couple of VA, then an RC. So
mm.
to start with, a few things. If I remember, I think it was CAT 2018 itself, the IM Calcutta paper. I think I remember that the questions of VA was jumbled like this.
Yes.
I think it was 2018 only,
Yes.
if I remember correctly,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Correct.
Uh,
Correct. It was.
And
uh,
Gijo, just to add to what you're saying,
hmm.
jumbled questions in verbal had been the norm till, if I remember correctly, till about 2020 or 21. I don't remember when it changed,
No,
but then it became clearly defined first 16 question
no,
of RC. So for the
no. It
last
was
3 4 it has changed, but पहले तो सब jumbled ही होता था.
नहीं था GP. I think that I remember 2017 paper had 2 tabs, RC tab and
Yes.
VA tab.
Correct.
हाँ,
अच्छा,
Correct. Correct.
and
मैं भूल गया
20
ये.
हाँ हाँ
हम्म,
याद है मुझे. Okay. 2018 was all over the place.
हम्म,
So if and then that is sort of one of the paper that that was created, and I think
हम्म,
that would kind of mean that people thinking about which question to solve, they can easily see and navigate. There's not much of a difference. But
हम्म,
it's just make. I remember while taking the particular paper, I just went on solving the question that I kept seeing on the screen because that was much easier to deal with. So that is one. So with when it comes to the VA story, I think at the end of the day, the last 3 years it was different VAs. Now, so you had the old version which did not have sentence placement. Then they introduced sentence placement question. They had the two each. So irrespective of whatever is the type of question the cat is going to ask in VA, the skills that is going to be tested is more or less the same, right? I don't think that the skill required for sentence placement is vastly different from anything else. So I personally don't think, at least from a VA perspective or VA RC perspective, it's like if the paper is going to be like this, it's not going to be sort of any different from the ones. So that would also mean that if it is a 4-3-3, I think 4-3-3 would be, no? So it'll be I think, or 4-3-3, right? So four.
3-3-2.
After 332, right? Sorry, 332.
332.
332. Sorry, so not 10. Okay, 332. Then paragraph summary will be 3. Paragraph jumble will be 3. Odd sentence will be 2, which means that it makes a lot of sense to ensure that those 5 questions, odd sentence and paragraph summary, gets you some marks. So otherwise, sentence placement used to be slightly easier to navigate. So I don't think, at least from VRC perspective, there is any changes. DLR having one more set is actually, according to me, good news. Little more choices. So if you have more number of sets, in any which case, you can do what you can do in 40 minutes, right? So just because they give you 10 sets of 25 sets or 4 sets or 10 sets, you can only do what you can do in those 40 minutes. More number of sets will also mean the more number of choices, I believe. I think that is good. But I don't understand what is this 2 questions, and I don't know. I know eventually it's going to be like that. I personally don't think they should matter. I have also had cases about times when CAT has given the sample paper, which was just a replica of the previous year's test, one of the previous years, and the actual CAT turned out to be different only. So at this point in time, I don't think that we should worry too much. So I think that what people should do, they can clearly see the interface. Okay, what is possible, that this is going to be the interface that's going to get. And apart from that, GP, I don't know. I don't see why people are crying.
The thing, Gejo,
Are people crying?
I don't know. That seemed to be.
Frankly, I'll agree with you. The entire thing that end of the day, you see, irrespective of what the sample paper is, look at the CAT for the last 5 years, 7 years, 20 years, 10 years, whatever period you want to look at. What changes in CAT is the structure of the paper, which means what is the time limit, whether there are 4 choices, 5 choices, 5 choices have never come, but that's part of the structure. What is the sectional time limit or not? Is there sectional? Is there one time given to you and you manage time, or 3 section each time is given? What does not change is the kind of questions. So whether you look at CAT 23, CAT 22, CAT 15, CAT 13, CAT 18, CAT 2005, the kind of questions don't really change. So whether you make it whatever the structure of the paper you give me, end of the day, as long as the questions are similar, it should not matter. Okay. Second thing is, as you rightly said, DILR, I'll be extremely happy if there are 5 sets of data. For the simple reason, 5 sets of data mean they need to create 15 sets of data. And to get 15 sets of data, which are high level of difficulty, is going to be a little difficult. And 5 sets of data means most probably the 5th set of data is not going to, at least 1 or maybe 2 sets of data is not going to be very difficult. So I've typically seen when the number of questions increase or number of data sets increase, the overall level of difficulty of the paper goes down, because, as I said, to create larger number of questions which are high level of difficulty becomes very difficult. So I would be okay with that. But if it is the same thing, it is fine with me. Okay. And yes, I was also intrigued by that. Ye do sawal ka kya matlab hai yaar? Unless there are 2 singlets, 2 single questions which are there, which you can solve as an independent question. I think once that came in CAT also, I think 5 questions in 2000, maybe 2000 or 99 or 98, that happened then. 99 or 2000, 5 single questions in LR. It was DILR over there. But that's an exception. And if it's in 35 years, I can think of only 1 year, obviously this is not going to happen. Okay, so as a tension ki baat nahi hai. Don't worry about what the paper is. Yes, now that they have given you 5 sections, 5 data sets in DILR, sorry, we'll also give you a few papers with 5 data sets, and you learn to deal with that. That's all.
Well, one thing I never understood with this CAT, right? There are 3 slots. If the CAT has to give some, I think one of the comment that is made in that form is saying that the mock has been designed. Okay, this is saying that the objective of the mock test is not to disclose the exam pattern of CAT. I just don't understand what do you mean not disclose.
They should modify that statement, Gejo. They should modify the statement not to disclose the pattern to the slot 1 people.
Yeah, the only people, see, there are 3 slots, right? So obviously they cannot have 3 different structure for 3 slots, because then the normalization goes for a toss. Every paper is going to have the same structure. The only surprise is going to happen for the slot 1 guy. I'm the slot 2.
I'm slot 1. Surprise for me.
So it'll be surprise for GP by the time you slaughter, you know what the hell paper is. I don't know. I have no idea. If it's like every single standardized examination all over the world very clearly defines what the test is, what are the kind of questions. I don't know. I think if it was just one paper that, let's say, all the 2 lakh 3 lakh students are taking, then that's a different story. It wouldn't matter. But this whole idea of having 3 slots, and I just don't know.
In this entire thing, I think there is one thing that I'd like to add, which is a continuation of what Gejo was stating. Generally, CAT has a tendency when they release the sample paper to pick up previous year questions. So even this time, if you look at it, it's actually the CAT 2021 slot 1 paper. And when you convert that CAT 2021 slot 1 paper into the current 66 questions, you realize in 2021 this sentence placement wasn't there. So one reason for sentence placement not to be visible could be कि 2021 का पेपर उठाया उसमें नहीं था. So first and foremost, in verbal, I would say don't even think about it. Secondly, and this is something that GP and I were also discussing yesterday, they have actually put in effort to add additional set. It was very easy for them to use a 66 question paper which was already there in 2021 and just give the replica. They have put in additional effort to add another set to make it 5 sets of 22 questions. Hence, that is probably the only place where I feel if there is a change, this might be the only change that comes up, which is that there'll be 5 sets, which, as everybody has pointed out, is going to be a great change because eventually attempts and everything remain the same. It's just easier for you to turn around and choose from which set I want to go ahead and attempt.
Yeah, if it is 5 set, it's very likely going to be 5 into 4. Why would they do? I think if they're going
to, it might be whatever 3 into 4 plus 2 into 5 if they want to make it 22. Or it could be 5 into 4, whatever. Matlab, there has to be some logic behind them putting 5. Because if we come out, I come out of slot 1 or I'm sitting in slot 1 at 9-10 a.m. and I'm like, 4 set you utha ke de diya hai. The first thing going on in my mind will be, Sala, kiya kya? Kyun kiya? Why did you put that extra effort in to give another set? Why create this chaos? At 9-10, that is what will be going on in my mind. And I'm sure the same will be happening with 1 lakh plus, assuming 1/3 is there in each slot. Ki bhaiya, why did you do this?
Yeah, Gejo, एक सवाल आ गया है. I thought it will be useful to put this up. I'm slot 1, well prepared, but still scared of significant pattern change.
So one of the things that you have to understand, Krishna, is that at the end of the day, there is going to be a normalization, right? So you have to believe that you are only competing with people taking the test in your slot. Whatever is the difference that happens across the 3 slot will be taken care of, right? Will up down jo hoga. So first of all, if there is a significant pattern change, if there is any significant pattern change, that significant pattern change is going to happen for everybody, right? If it happens. So therefore, the people who are going to do well is people who are going to keep cool. Second of all, I think that you are saying that suddenly grammar puchega to kya hoga. Suddenly, I think such a kind of change, right? Suddenly out of the blue, there are some vocabulary questions and which never seen. Whatever be the significant change, please do understand that's the change that is there. And the second, that irrespective of whatever is the type of question being asked, the skill set being tested by the CAT is going to remain. That's what GP was saying. Even if you look at any paper over the years, the skill set remain the same. So what you have to do is, if for whatever reason there is a significant pattern change, you look at everybody else and go, everybody else is worried. I am to sitting chill, right? So that's what I would advise. So I think there is no need to worry.
Sorry. Okay. And one thing which again I would just add to what Gejo said. Okay. If there's a change like vocabulary or anything else, okay, please remember second and third slot will be equally at sea with it. Vocabulary कोई भी अपनी अगले 4 घंटे में change नहीं कर पाएगा. You will not be able to brush up your grammar in the next 2 to 3 hours. Slot 2 के पास तो वैसे ही time नहीं होगा because slot 2, when slot 1 is coming, slot 2 will be about to enter. So there's nothing they can do in the next half an hour. Second thing, please remember, if you look at the normalization process, as Gejo rightly pointed out, in fact, if you look at the data of the past, typically slot 1 people, their scores go up after normalization. Okay? But that is because slot 1 has a disadvantage of being the only set of people who have that shock or surprise, whatever you want to call it. While slot 2 and slot 2 are a little better prepared, when I say little better prepared, they know what they are going to get. Whatever slot 1 has got, that is what I'll get in slot 2. So what Gautam gets in slot 1, Gautam Puri will get in slot 2. So I know what to expect, and to that extent, things are much more easier for slot 2 and slot 3, and which is why he said normalization typically ends up favoring slot 1 students. So you should not be at all worried about this part. Okay. Okay. But एक और इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है. हाँ.
So feeling depressed, I'm scoring 99% consistently day and QA, but struggling in VRC. Please give any advice. I don't want 1 year's hard work going in vain in for one section. So I don't know what is your current problem that you're facing with respect to VRC. At the end of the day, the good thing about VRC is all the answers that you need is there there. It's an open book exam practically, right? Everything that you need is there, right? Answer is going to be there. So what you'll have to do is and of course there is going to be a huge fluctuation in score in VRC as well. Because unlike other, for example, in quant you are bringing in knowledge from outside to answer the question. For VRC, the knowledge is there in the paper. So how you read the particular passage is going to be there. So what I will sort of recommend, so in the next 10 days, if we can actually do is, so see if we can work on a VA. Right. If let's say if you're able to get there are 8 questions of VA, whatever be the VA question, that is worth 24 marks, right? Even if let's say I get 50% of the mark, which is about 12 marks or 15 marks, right? And then RC, all you need is another 12 to get your score to 25. Next 12 in RC will be about net 4 questions. That'll get your score to 24, 25, which will be very close to about 95%. And at least you won't have the problem. So every single test that you would have taken, the test where you would have done well, it will be very likely the test where your VA score would have been higher. So I think what you can do is just pick up all the mocks that you have taken or not taken, just all the section tests, whatever. Just focus, work on your VA, and whatever is your RC is going to be your RC now. But I think that your VA can still be worked on in the next coming days to sort of take care of the problem that you're facing. That's what I would say. Yeah.
And Gejo, I'm pitching a small sales pitch out here.
So Gejo said I was struggling VRC till a month ago. Then I decided to go for VRC 1000, and now I have improved VRC like 6 and a peak of 30 plus. But I feel my quant has gone down. Any advice? Okay. First part, thank you. All right. For the, but I don't know. But many people say things have gone down. The skill would not have gone down. No, I think that how can your skill go down suddenly? So your quant going down. I think GP will be able to.
कुछ नहीं है यार. It is just because most probably he would have spent more time on verbal and neglected quant, so it would be a little out of touch. So all he needs to do is probably revise, because as you rightly said, overnight you have not become an idiot with respect to quant.
Correct.
So if you had good knowledge of quant 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks ago, you have still have good knowledge. Okay. So let's get started with this the session जो purpose था, and Gautam, let's get started इसमें. Yeah, अच्छा तुम okay.
Yeah, perfect. So this is basically the agenda. What we want to go ahead and cover, talk a little bit about the last 10-day strategy. What is it that you should be doing? And as I pointed out earlier, more importantly, what you shouldn't be doing, because I think that's equally important. Just like in DILR, equally important to not solve sets and identify what not to solve. In the same way, very important to know at this time what not to do and to leave things alone. Certain myths that you might be hearing at this point in time, यार स्लॉट 1 के साथ वो हो जाता है, स्लॉट 3 के साथ ये हो जाता है, बहुत ज्यादा फैकल्टी इस स्लॉट में पेपर लिखते हैं इसलिए इस स्लॉट के percentiles will be lower. I've been hearing these sort of myths as well in a couple of the Telegram groups, that all faculty have pooled and they've all gone to slot 3, so I think slot 3 normalization will be a problem. Those sort of myths, we'll pick those up. A little bit to do, I think, with stress management at this point in time, because a couple of you all pointing out that marks are suddenly falling. I personally have a belief that 10-15 days leading up to CAT, you will end up seeing 1 to 2 questions on an average per section गिर रहा है, और stress में आ जाओगे. एक गिरता है, दूसरा stress में आके और गिरता है. It's normal, it happens. So a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about your health and certain things you should keep in mind over the course of the next 10 days, and a little bit with respect to the sections and what you can look at, every single section and what is it that you can do. So all questions related to quant, DILR, verbal, kya karna chahiye, we'll cover all of that. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the strategy part. GP, over to you.
Yeah, I think this is the safest thing. क्या करना है, बहुत simple यही है, and no time for experiments. And this is something we have said earlier also. Don't look at doing anything new. Whatever you know is good enough. Revise a lot, and whatever is working for you, Look at your past papers, whatever strategies have worked, whatever sequence have worked, whether you start from question 1 or question 24, whatever works for you, just stick to it now. Okay? And the second one is important, and unfortunately, a few students have डांट खाया मुझसे इस सवाल के ऊपर कि सर आई एम नॉट यूज्ड टू slot 3, what do I do? I said leave cat, don't take cat. Take cat again next year, hopefully you'll get the slot you desire. If there's anything you can do about getting a slot 1, 2 or 3, you have got the slot, you have got the slot. You have to take the paper in that slot itself. The only thing you can do is start taking the paper at this stage in that slot. So all subsequent mocks, please take it in your slot. Even if you are not taking a mock on that time, make sure at that, if you are 4:30, 6:30 slot, make sure every day 4:30 to 6:30 you're doing serious work. Take a couple of section tests. Do something which is adding to your preparation and gets your cycle in place. And if you are someone who's unfortunately a late riser or a late sleeper and you have got slot 1, please start sleeping early. There's nothing else you can do about these things. And if you feel sleepy in the afternoon, try to work a way around it. Maybe get up a little late so that you don't feel sleepy in the afternoon. But this is not something which you can do anything about. Iska rona band karo, because at least in the last 5-6 days since the admit card have come out, I have heard from at least 20 odd students have called me, sir मेरा slot खराब आ गया, क्या करूं? कुछ नहीं कह सकते यार, पेपर छोड़ दो या फिर just reconcile and start working towards it. Okay? Finally, just remember, revision I have always talked about, so I'll not talk about it. To me, the third part is important. Remember, you get selected based on the correct answers. And the correct answers are always higher in your areas of strength. So which is what you need to focus on. What you don't know, you don't know. What you are not comfortable, you will not become overnight comfortable with it. So just focus on your strengths and hope for the best. Finally, आसपास जो है ना रोना बंद कर दो और आसपास जो रोते हुए लोग हैं उनसे भी दूर हो जाओ. And then things will probably work better for you.
I probably asked Gejo to come in here on the third point. Gejo got a question mark added. Very specifically, statement became a question.
Yeah, it was a statement. I got the question mark added. See at the way in which I've always the big problem with all these last 10 days is everybody will be doing very different things, right? I think that everybody behaves very, very differently, very close to the exams, right? So the mere reason, for example, if I were to take the test, I think one of the advice that everybody keep chill. I can't keep chill. Okay, so I'll have to do something. Okay, the thinking is a waste of time. The best is to keep doing something. So the reason why I have put a question mark is, for example, going back to some of these going back to, let's say, the question that was put to me in terms of how do I improve my score now in VRC. I'm stuck somewhere. What I'm saying is that every single time that you have, your objective is I need to get marks, right? If it means that what is stopping you from getting marks is you never working hard on, let's say, odds and ends questions, or let's say paragraph jumble questions. I think that a lot of people have come back and told me, sir, I have a problem with paragraph jumble in the examination. Mein karta nahi hu. I feel that I'm very bad. I've not done it. So I'm saying that have we actually gone ahead and solved about 550 to 100 paragraph jumble questions just to take a handle of it? If there are umpteen number of times when we did not know one particular concept, we saw one video, let's say GP ka, let's say one video, suddenly understood the particular concept, I could solve questions. The point that I'm saying, the reason why I put a particular question mark is from today on till the CAT, my whole objective is to ensure that I would keep improving my score. Now, to say that focus on your strength rather than weakness means I would phrase it like this: is that you should not be worrying about a weakness. If you have a certain problem, then it's okay. You should not sit and worry about a weakness. If you feel that you're worrying about a particular weakness, try and attack those weaknesses. Otherwise, you say that, okay, whatever the preparation that I've done is sort of good enough for me to do well in the particular paper. I will sort of ignore those issues and challenges that I face here. I hope that because I have tried working on them and those problems remains, so then I sort of not care much about those weaknesses because my strength is good enough to take me through this test. So which is why I have that sort of question. To add on to what the GP was saying in terms of taking test in your slot, the first thing is that, for example, if you're someone who's traveled in anywhere long distance, right, flight, दूसरे country में, you're always going to have jet lags, right? So if you, for example, if you have never used to waking up, you always woke up at 10 a.m. right? Or 9 a.m. Let's say that, and your exam slot is 7:30 a.m. This whole idea that if somebody who's wake up at 9 a.m. cannot wake up at 5 a.m. is or 6 a.m. is a stupid idea, because if it is 9 a.m. in some, for example, today is what, 8:30 p.m. in India, this will be 5 p.m. somewhere else. It'll be 8 a.m. somewhere else in the world, right? So this idea that, so you just have to get your clock in place, right? So you may have some issues in the beginning, but you have to ensure that you are the very you are at your peak at your slot. I've got a slot that I hate, which is this crazy. I don't understand this slot. Only GP loves this slot. 12:30 to 2:30. I just don't understand this slot. When do I have lunch? What am I? I'm supposed to leave at 11:30. I'll have breakfast. Then I am in the paper. This slot is a nightmare slot. So if, let's say, if I'm so I have to get used to that, right? So if I'm taking the test, then I have to get used. I can't crib about it. So now every single day I'll ensure that 12:30 to 12:30 I'm doing something. Even if I'm not taking a mock, I'm studying or doing very active stuff during the period of time. So if I am, let's say I'm solving a question, definitely during the period of time. I'm doing something very active during the period of time. If, let's say, if my slot is morning slot, then during in the next sort of 10 days that I have, I'm doing some either preparing, taking mocks, something. Sort of doing that. One of the reasons why I says that I've got cases where people just not drinking water, and suddenly sitting during the test and feeling thirsty, didn't know what to do, drank a lot of water. Now want to go to pee, can't go out. Right, then these stupid small thing is going to create a problem. So which means you have to be absolutely it's like preparing like athletes, right? So athletes are, after a certain point in time, prepare for that, for every single situation. So you have to pick. So I would absolutely agree saying that you should take the mock in your slot. Sure, I'd say, yeah.
Perfect. So I'll probably pick up one or two questions coming here. Rajesh is stating, I've written the CDC mocks, but pending analysis of a couple of them. When we say do not experiment, do I only stick to revising the questions previously solved and bookmarked? Not really. When we say do not experiment, we're saying don't change your strategy. That's it. Gejo might come out and say, this is my strategy. This is how I attempt. GP will state, this is how I attempt. I'll say, this is how I attempt. With 10 days to go, it's good to hear, but it's probably makes the most sense to stick to what has worked for you till now, especially if you've been doing well. So that is what we mean by do not experiment. We do not mean that over the next 10 days, only go through the bookmark questions or only go through the questions of mocks that you've written. Obviously, over the course of the next 10 days, at least till the 20th or the 21st, you should be writing probably about 3 to 4 mocks for sure. One mock every alternate day. If I look at it, 3 to 4 mocks to likhoge hi. Also, like GP pointed out earlier, what if the five sets come up in DILR? So we are providing a few sectionals. Practice that as well. So these are few things that you should do. This is not called experimentation. This is called reinforcing your strengths, reinforcing what you've been doing. So please continue doing that for sure. GP Gejo, anything you all want to add to this?
Yeah, no, I think you're.
I think done.
Yeah, nothing from my end. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's move on. Yeah, one very important question, right? That comes at this point in time. I kind of turned around and mentioned it a little bit. How many mocks to write from now till CAT? So I've probably given my opinion. Over to you all.
One mock worth of question every day
66 questions every day in
is
that
what.
2 hour slot.
No, not in the 2 hours, not in a day. Now, for example, let's say that I have to. Let's say that if I'm revising, right? Let's say if I'm revising something, I'm still solving it, right? So I'm not revision means I'm still solving. Unless I'm revising some formula, I'm still using questions, right? So I would, or let's say if I'm looking at a past question, so I would probably say that in a day, maybe about 20 the math ka question. I think that 3 to 4 DLR sets. let's say about 3 to 4 RCs or 2 RCs or whatever, and then some VA questions. I'm saying eventually the mock is when you actually sit for 2 hours and take it like that. No, I'm saying in a day you should probably have. That's what I think the easiest thing to do in these 10 days is to make it very task based. These are the stuff that I want to do. The number of mocks that you want to take is, I don't know. I think that maybe the 3, maybe. One of the problem that happens with a lot of these mocks towards the end is that people have a feeling that whatever is the score that I'm getting now is going to be the score for the cat.
Yeah.
And and then they end up, like you said, they take one mock, score is down, the next mock with that pressure that given goes down, and they say that then you get worried. So what I would uh, recommend is that there has to be a point where you say that I'm not going to take mocks, right? So I'm not going to take. There has to be a cutoff point where you say that I'm not going to take mocks. I don't want to take a mock Monday before, but I can still sort of practice or revise questions. I can still do the number of questions. I can still read articles. I can still do sort of passages. So my answer is in 10 days, maybe 3 mocks is what I'll say. A lot of people, I'm sure that many of them are sitting here taking almost 1 mock per day. And I'm sure there are people who are they're taking 1 or 2. I would say 3. I count with 3. I don't know.
Gejo, I'm perfectly fine. Though in general, I would say you should not take more than a couple of mocks, maybe 3 mocks a week. But I'm perfectly fine with students taking 6 mocks in 6 days. So why did you analyze each and every paper, identify what went right for you, what did not go right for you, and you will take corrective action for the next paper. Then I don't have a problem. My problem is people just take a mock and then look at the score and start crying if they have not done well. And if they have done well, start putting oh shit, acha aa gaya, agle mein pata nahi aayega ki nahi aayega. So it is a lose-lose situation which happens for many students. So as long as you take a paper, analyze, identify what went right, wrong, and take corrective action, perfectly fine. But as Gejo said, it will boil down to what kind of person you are. Some of you will need to do 2,000 questions a day. Some of you will be happy doing 20 questions a day. Work out what you are kind of people. For example, if you go back to your school or college, there are some students who till the last minute are revising, have books and papers and sheets of paper with them, and they are going through them. There are some students who just walk in and say, "ठीक है, जो होगा देखा जाएगा." Whatever kind of person you are, stick to it. It has worked for you in the past, it will work for you this time also. So be what you are, be comfortable with what you are, and don't try to copy what others are doing. What works for you, and stick to it. In general, as I said, I am happy doing 2, maximum 3 mocks a week. And in the next 10 days, if you have done 3, maybe 4 mocks, it's perfectly fine with me. But stay in touch on a regular basis with whatever is your preparation requirement.
Perfect. Okay. Stress management, GP. I think best person to.
यार मेरे को बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आता ये. I am the worst person to talk about stress management. Okay, and I'll go back to my school. I don't have any stress because I have never done anything. I've never done well in school, college, in school, not in college, in school. Which means I don't have any problem. Yes, stress तब होगा ना जब कुछ आता होगा. इन स्कूल कुछ आता ही नहीं था तो कोई स्ट्रेस ही नहीं था. जाते थे पेपर दे के आ जाते थे एंड उसकी वजह से आदत पड़ गई कि कितना भी मुश्किल पेपर कुछ भी हो, I would always be able to just manage it. Okay. And when I was in college, I changed a little. I started sitting in the first bench for the change, and suddenly ये तो समझ आती है चीजें. And next thing I knew was I was teaching everyone in my class in engineering, and I was the reason why half my batch passed chemical engineering. तो तब भी स्ट्रेस नहीं होता था क्योंकि तब आता था. तो अगर तुम्हें आता है तुम्हें स्ट्रेस नहीं होना चाहिए. If you don't know anything, you should not have any stress because nothing can go wrong for you. So why do you have stress? Something I don't understand. To me, always the issue is stress is something which is external, which is induced, and you create that pressure for yourself. ये नहीं हुआ तो माँ बाप क्या बोलेंगे? क्या बोलेंगे यार? They'll be unhappy, but they will still manage. They'll live with you. They are not going to throw you out of the house. या कुतुब मीनार पे ले जाके धक्का नहीं मारेंगे. They'll still manage. ठीक है. They will be unhappy if you did not put in the effort. And even if you put in the effort and you don't do well, they'll still be unhappy, but they'll be a little more supportive. So please don't put that pressure. Don't make this a do or die battle. Well, I've always seen that when students make these papers, a do or die kind of a thing, and say this is the only thing I have in my life and nothing else, then problems start happening. So just relax, hope for the best, and चलो देखते हैं क्या होगा.
GP
Yeah.
Prakriti has a good question based on what you just stated. Sir, मैं बीच की हूँ. What about those people जिनको आता थोड़ा सा ही है? ऐसा भी नहीं कि कुछ नहीं आता, ऐसा भी नहीं कि सब कुछ
नहीं,
आता है.
बट एक बात
वो भी
बताओ,
stress हो सकता है.
कैट में किसने कहा तुम्हें तुम्हें टॉप करना है? तुम्हें बीच का ही चाहिए ना. यू नीड 50% मार्क्स. So if Prakriti is from beach key, that means she can get 50% marks. She'll do well. Again, my only point is don't look for reasons for failure. Don't create excuses for your future failure. तुम बोलोगे मुझे आता नहीं है, ये सब नहीं होता, मेरा पेपर खराब होगा, बाद में पेपर खराब होगा, पीठ थपथपाओगे, देखा मुझे मालूम था पेपर खराब होगा. ठीक है. So don't create reasons for your future. Don't create excuses for your future failure. You are planning to fail and you are creating an excuse today. Be positive.
Perfect.
Yeah. So one of the things that happens because you do a lot of VRC, is you end up reading a lot of random things. Okay. So
No.
one of the things that I've read recently was this idea called solipsism. Okay. Okay.
What is that?
Solipsism.
Sorry?
Solipsism. Okay. There is a negative
अच्छा, चलो
connotation to
बताओ क्या
solipsism.
होता है.
Solipsism is basically of the theory. That there's a philosophical theory. They say that all that I know is my mind. Okay. Right. I only know. So this is also sort of the Rene Descartes idea that I think, therefore I am. The whole idea that I am the only mind that exists. Reality is only in my mind. So this solipsism, people say that obviously very self-centric idea, but the whole idea is that to sort of talk about it is that the only person that is going to exist on the day of the cat is you. As the only thing that matters is what happens in your mind. Everything else, what others are doing, what others are doing, or what the cat is going to do, and what is likely percentile distribution is going to be, is outside your control. The one of the things that you can kind of focus at this point in time is that, yeah, क्या है exam at the end of the day ना, है क्या this exam. So if I look at, for example, the maths that is being asked is something that you studied in school. DLR, nobody knows. Anyways, nobody has been taught DLR ever in their life. Right? The first time everybody started with DLR is for this cat only. VRC, every answer is there. If I look at the 50th percentile score of QA, 50th percentile means you have beaten 50% of the test taking population, which is, let's say, 1.5 lakhs. The 50th percentile marks for 3.5. Score is 3. That is one question. 1.5 lakh people can't solve one question in 40 minutes. What is this test? So if I look at 95 percentile, 95 percentile क्या है? 45 score में ना, last year at least. 95 percentile I believe was a score of 45 overall. 95 percentile overall was a score of 45. That is what? 15 questions. 5 questions in a section. In 40 minutes, people can solve 5 questions correctly in the RC. 95% of the people cannot. In 5 questions correctly in DLR, and 5 questions of QA. What is this test? I think this is we have made this cat into, obviously all of us have made this cat into this beast. It is not. And like GP said, that 66 question is given to me. Thodi na I have to get 198 marks. And let's go back and look at why are we stressed. The only reason why we are stressed is because we keep seeing this mock score and then we start worrying. So the only what else is giving you stress? The only thing that is giving you stress is your attitude towards the moment you see a mock score. Those mock tests, those mock tests are there for a purpose. That purpose is to help you sort of plan, prepare for the exam. The word mock is not suggesting that if, let's say, if you got a score of X in mock, that is the score that you're going to get in the cat. That paper matters, that day matters. So half your 75% of the problem is basically your attitude towards what the mock test is, right? So and then the other kind of issues, stress. So last year when I took the cat, sir, I had this problem. We had traumas of previous year's cat that we are carrying even today. But if you actually think about most of your stress, it are very irrational ones. So people say, suddenly, sir, my score is dropping. What do you mean your skills are not dropping? How will your skill drop suddenly out of the blue? So there are the way in which, I don't know, different people have different way of treating with stress. My way in which dealing with stress is don't think only. Okay. If I'm do, okay. That is how I deal. Just do some stuff. If not, if I'm worried, if I'm free, if I'm worried, if I have a lot of stress, watch some stupid YouTube videos or something. So I would I would say is that then other stress happens. So there are other kind of stress that happens. Other kind of stress that happens. Let's say that when you are the unnecessary stress, and this stress can happen in the cat. Let's say that you are a DLR section in 10 minutes, you could not solve the first set. You went to the second set in 50, another 5 minutes, nothing is happening. First 15 minutes, nothing happened. You did not mark even one question wrong. So now it's like panicking. Shit, 25 minutes, everything is over, life is gone. So such kind of stress that is going to happen during the exam. Instead of thinking that whatever is the time that is left of me, I will try and get as many marks as possible. It is fine. In 25 minutes, I can theoretically get, let's say, another 5 questions out, or 4 questions, 5 questions out. Nowhere, let's say, for example, suddenly I'm reading the particular passage, suddenly I'm going blank. So I don't know what's happening. Okay, just keep it chill. Just close your eyes, tone down. And those kind of, assuming that your 40 minutes in the paper is not going to be a smooth 40 minutes. So, and you don't require the entire 40 minutes of absolute 100% concentration to crack this particular test. You may have some downs. So, what you'll say that irrespective of whatever happens at any single point in time, only thing that matters is the question that you see on the screen, and then you keep telling yourself that I'll be able to navigate whatever time that is left. I'll try and get marks, right? Even if, let's say, a lot of time the stress happens when we see the timer, only 5 minutes left. Oh God, why are you going? Oh God, in 5 minutes, how many marks? I need to get 3 more marks. No, चलो यार 3 more marks के लिए एक और question करता हूँ ना. Why are we unnecessarily worried about the time left and these many things? If you just ensure that just ensure that every single point in time you keep things very, very simple. You have a question on the screen, you solve the question. If you can't, just leave it, you move to the next one. If for some reason your mind is not working, it's okay. Just put a pen down. Okay, close your eyes for about 10 seconds, open it and do, and keep reassuring yourself the only thing that exists is your mind. You are the only thing, the only reason, the only thing that exists. Your reality is what reality you have in your mind. So that's what I would say with respect to stress. I don't know whether you can manage stress. I don't, probably you can. I don't know whether all of us have got different level of stress in a life. No, so and most of this time the stress are unnecessary, irrational sort of stuff that happens. But yeah, so I think that I like GP's one. I don't know anything. That's the best. If I don't know anything, why am I stressing?
I actually like to look at it in a slightly different way, Gejo. Whether I can handle stress, not handle stress. CAT is basically relative grading. And all of you students who will end up going to a B school will hear this term RG Giri a lot. Okay. I'll not disclose what RG Giri is, but you will hear this term a lot. You will hear this every day of your life for this 2 years. The way I look at it is, and I really used to love Mahendra Singh Dhoni when he used to turn around and state this: if I am going into bat and I need to score 20 runs in the last over, the pressure is on the bowler, it is not on me. Exactly, and this picture is signifying the same thing. This is Virat Kohli in that T20 World Cup against Pakistan, MCG. Exactly same. The pressure is on Nawaz, the pressure is on Haris Rauf and not me. You have to do this as an RG thing, relative grading. RG giri karni hai. If I don't take stress, I have automatically ended up scoring more than others, because others not taking stress is not going to happen. Stress to lenge. 95, 98, 99% of India is going to be in stress. They will look at the CAT paper. यार 22 बोला था 20 आ गया. इसका क्या मतलब? What will happen in DILR? यार 22 बोला. I have not written enough sectional tests of 22. What will happen now? जो भी आएगा, whether CAT gives you 20, whether CAT gives you 22 in DILR, stress 95% of Janta is taking. The moment you turn around and you state, like Gejo said, na, turn around and laugh at that other person. The moment you do that, the moment the attitude is that, you have automatically started off on a better note. You're automatically better placed than that other person. Just think of it from that. Everybody in life wants some benefit, right? In anything you do, there is a huge benefit. You not taking stress is going to give you that RG. It's going to give you that relative grading vis-a-vis somebody else. Just look at it from that way. अब कैसे stress नहीं लेना वो तुम्हारे ऊपर है.
Yeah. Now people are going to get stressed on how to not take stress.
How to? Next word.
Okay.
I shared this message yesterday, I think, with one of you all. I got a message yesterday. Sir, I am getting stressed about the fact that I am not stressed about CAT. I shared this on our group yesterday. So I was like, "Acha, this is new. This one I have not heard before."
Gautam, in fact, na, when I take a paper, I've always wanted a paper जो कोई surprise लेके आएगा. Because I know if it's a paper has a surprise, 95% जनता वैसे ही fail हो जाएगी.
Was good for me.
अब मेरे को तो अभी भी वही करना है जो पहले करना था. जो सवाल समझ आए करो, what you don't understand leave. मेरा स्कोर अच्छा हो जाएगा. I will still score the same, but relatively I'll be better off. So मेरे को बहुत बुरा लगता है कि defined paper जो expected है वो ही आ जाता है.
So मैं याद आया. So this like I took the cat in 1996. पुराना couple of this like those cat is like very different cat. So till the 1995, the cat had 4 sections, 2 hours. Do whatever you want to do. Okay, paper based. There is 118, 185 questions. Do what you want. Everybody had strategy. Which section to solve first? Which section to solve first? मेरे कुछ हुआ नहीं. I didn't know what to do. My paper suddenly there were 2 1-hour papers. There were one VA and something in 1 hour. There was another thing 1 hour. Oh, everybody had problem. I was so happy. Cat decided that I will like. Cat is deciding what I'm supposed to do. I think the only reason why I've cleared the cat is because of the stupid surprise at the game. I think the best way to deal with all the thing is whatever is happening for you only. I think the world is conspiring to ensure that you are going to IIM. Okay, ये चल रहा है. So you have to.
That's the Shah Rukh Khan dialogue, ना? किसी चीज को इतनी शिद्दत से चाहो कि पूरी कायनात मिलके उसी चीज के लिए. There's a Shah Rukh Khan dialogue on that.
हाँ, the 10 days का एक ही job है. You have to fool your mind. Okay, so
interestingly, my cat paper was exactly opposite to yours. In 1989, it used to be 4 sections with defined time limits. 1990 cat was 3 sections, 90 questions of quant and DI combined in a single section. 2 hours, no time limit. Now you do what you want.
अच्छा.
So मेरे को अभी भी याद है in my class where I was checking the paper I was in Mumbai in Shivaji Vidyalay या उसमें King George कुछ होता था उसका नाम. वहाँ पे 30 someone said, "Sir, is the time for English over?" मैं कहा ये क्या पूछ रहा है? That kid had not read the instructions at all. He was waiting for the bell to ring to stop English and move to the next one. So I'm sure quite a few people would have done that. But the point is, you have a paper, read the instructions carefully, understand क्या है और करो. Ultimately तो सवाल ही करने, बाकी सब कहानी है.
Correct है. हाँ. तो ये है.
बस यही करो यार, खेलो कूदो, मुस्कुराओ, क्या पता कल होना हो. just chill. And like Gejo said, ये chill क्या होता है मैं नहीं कर पाता, तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा आगे जाके बात करेंगे क्या होता है.
Everybody assumes that I chill a lot. The reality is I take a lot of stress.
Gejo, that video of you dancing, is getting famous and viral on Reddit as well. I think
Really?
you were dancing a couple of days back.
वो relaunch कर दो वाला वीडियो, सब स्टूडेंट्स को भेज दो फिर से.
Perfect. Okay, so I think last 10 days, what is it that you can do from a section perspective? What things to revise? We were getting a lot of questions also where students were asking quant में क्या करना है, कैसे करना है. So yeah, GP, over to you. Quant revision recommendation.
ये लिखी दिया तुमने. Previous year papers and mocks keep revising the question which you know you can do, but you get a little confused. Let me complete that statement. Okay, so obviously what you know and you'll always get right is not something you need to look at. And to me, it is the old CAT papers which are very important because the concepts get repeated. So if you have not done these papers of old CAT papers, please do them now. Secondly, something which Gejo always says, and I'm just copying from him, and which I strongly believe in, if you are weak in geometry, make sure you have done all the geometry questions of past CAT papers. Some of those questions will be very easy and you will be able to handle them. Some of the questions you will not understand, leave them. But keep revising the geometry questions because you are weak in geometry. Revise the questions from old CAT paper of geometry, you will do well. Similarly, for the other topics. So whatever you think you don't want to do, you have to do that from old CAT papers and nowhere else. Because the solutions are available and some of those questions are very easy. Your job is not to do questions from your area of interest. Your job is to do easy questions across all areas. So even if you are strong in a particular area, let's say time, speed, distance, and there's a difficult question of time, speed, distance, you should not be attempting it. You should be attempting easy question of permutation combination as compared to a difficult question of time, speed, distance. Assuming permutation combination is not your strong area. So which is why to me the old CAT paper is extremely important, followed by mocks. Because mocks are, while old CAT papers, some of these are little dated, you might say, but the mocks are current. Secondly, mocks also give you a huge variety of questions, and because when we are looking at mocks, it is not based on last CAT only. Last 4-5 CAT papers is what we look at. So it gives you more variety which is current. So between these two, you can do it. Thirdly, जुगाड़ तो ठीक है, revise करते रहो, because as like DILR, जुगाड़ is something most of you have not done ever in your life. So it will take a bit of time, but in the paper, please don't look for जुगाड़. You read a question, जुगाड़ strike कर दिया, कर दो. नहीं strike किया, formula लगाओ, करो. So you don't look for the जुगाड़, it happens to you in the paper. And secondly, you read a question, whatever strikes you first is the way of doing the paper question, please do it accordingly. ज़्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाना, but follow the process. Which means when you're looking at DILR, please go through the data completely, understand what it is all about, go through the questions and look at the choices also to understand whether they will be helpful to you or not. Go through all the 4 or 5 sets as the case may be before deciding which set to pick up. So the process is important. To me, what is the problem most of the time with large number of students is we don't follow the process. Okay? Because if you follow the process to the T, the outcome is going to be good.
I'll just like to add one thing, in quant, this is coming from somebody who hates geometry. But I think over the last 10 days, there is a formula list available in your MyZone. Geometry के formulae, arithmetic के formulae रोज revise कर लो. There is a very, very high probability 2 to 3 questions, direct application of formula will come up. Now, if that you are giving just because I had not practiced geometry, that is stupidity. Don't let that happen. Just add that formula list and just go through that every day. Yeah, GP, you're saying something.
Just adding to it, I'm someone who has a problem remembering formulas. A plus B whole square, A plus B whole cube के आगे मुझे कुछ formula नहीं आता. So I would do exactly what you said, Gautam. I would every day pick up a list of formulas and mug up. And CAT के दिन तक मैं करता था, CAT के जाने के पहले भी कर रहा था मैंने. So मुझे मालूम है, this is my weak area. I will work towards improving it because I know even if one question comes out of that formula list, it is 3 straight marks for me. Why should I not do it? मैं कोई ईगो नहीं रखता हूँ, मुझे मालूम है कहाँ पे ढक्कन हूँ, मैं उधर काम करूंगा.
Perfect. Gejo, anything you want to add to quant? Or should we move?
Yeah, so I think the only thing I want to add here is, for example, this issue with geometry, right? When the day we started preparing for the CAT, we decided not to do geometry, right? The day, and every time you look at a geometry, you have told yourself some lie that geometry मेरे से होता नहीं है. कैसे नहीं होता है? I think for example, कितना construct है geometry में? How many chapters? Probably about 5 chapters. Each chapter having about 5-6 constructs, about 10-50 constructs. I think 50 ideas, or let's say all put together 5 chapters. One chapter will probably take about 4 hours. In terms of at least understanding the base thing, just requires 20 hours. 20 hours worth of effort. We have 10 days. Well, I think that many of you would be sitting at home and preparing with the CAT. This idea that if there is, I think this love affair that people have with arithmetic, right? And then for solving even the difficult question of arithmetic and missing out on some of these very formal, simple formula-based questions of geometry.
Right.
And it just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's what I said, that to me the last 10 days mein, if previous year's CAT papers, at least those areas utna to kar lo. If you still believe that there are some work that I can actually do to get 3 more marks or 6 more marks, use the previous year's CAT question. Let's say, like GP said, geometry, use a previous CAT question, revise formulas of geometry, and then I've seen a lot of this. in the last 5 years, 5 6 years, jitna bhi permutations, combinations, questions have come in the CAT, here and there, it's ekdam basic. There is nothing complicated in any of this. This requires very basic stuff. Um, the the lot of people still have issue with logarithms. Okay, and and consciously decided not to do such things. What I would strongly recommend is that is that ensure that you are doing at least those questions from the previous year's CAT papers. Right? At least you know how to solve. Revise the formulas that you think that is going to worry you. Yeah, keep looking at and solving those questions, which is all the gray questions, gray areas, the things that you don't know. Different story. The questions that you tend to have problems with. Keep revising some of these questions, so we can still do a lot of stuff in QA. That's what I would like.
If I
Probably.
can add, if I can just add to what you were stating, because I think very very relevant, because guaranteed है, log से तो आएगा ही, दो क्वेश्चन भी आ
Hmm.
सकते हैं, एक तो guaranteed आ रहा है. Very simple, na? Just go to the drill down analysis. Just click on logs of the drill down analysis. Go through all the questions.
Hmm.
Just go through all the questions. It's all together. Done, dusted, काम खत्म.
Yeah, log का अगर आप ना mock, there are 30 mocks now 30 mocks will be about minimum 30 questions होगा, and if you solve these 13 questions, just these 30 questions on the mock, you'll basically know mocks, no log. Okay, you'll know all
Correct.
variations, all variation log. Look at every question has got solution. You just have to go back and relook at these questions. This attitude that you had in the beginning, that I will not do stuff, we still have 10 days. And I think that all we need is, let's say, 3 more marks. I don't think that there has been, if I even if I look at the CAT ka history mein kitna repetitive, most of the ideas are, there are only so many concepts
सब
na.
तो ये. Yeah,
So
limited concepts.
there are only limited concepts. How many times even CAT has repeated sort of questions, or uh, I think we picked one now in the RT9 and offline session.
RT99. RT99
RT9
one.
offline session
Yeah.
mein. Direct.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's only limited number of questions, that the concept that is there. So just do the previous year's CAT papers, the mocks, and revise. I think that should suffice. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's move to verbal. A lot of questions coming on verbal actually. If you look at it, Gejo.
The verbal is slightly more painful, right? So the con में क्या होता है? Whatever I mark, I know more or less. So for example, in maths, you solve something, you see answer as 21, you see option 21, you mark it, right? So you more or less certain in terms of, unless it is a type of answer question. In DLR, if you solve something, you see the answer, you're very excited. That's the happiest that you'll be, right? In VRC, you first of all, when you mark, you're not sure. Like you're many times I was very confident marking something, got it wrong, right? So second of all, the knowledge that is required. So in Q, at least there are structure in terms of chapters. Okay, I can revise concepts. It's my, what will I revise? So then everything in VRC is going to boil down on the day of the CAT. Is you reading the passage and understanding the passage and answering the questions, and you doing stuff at your pace of comprehension, irrespective of whatever have been the score, right? So the issues that you have in terms of reading either too slow or too fast or doing unnecessary analysis. So if you believe that if you read it all the options once, you believe that answer choice is 3, no, we'll still unlike. And all this score fluctuation that we had in the sort of the past, right? So your score has been going up and down. We're not really sure in terms of get a handle of ERC as a section. Then this the last one, so it doesn't matter whether you want to start with VA, start with RC. That I'm sure that you already figured that out. This is what I will recommend, right? This is what I've been recommending to everybody who has asked me. I think I've given this recommendation now for the last 1 month, one and a half months, wherever. Okay. And in the VRC 1000 session, live session that I've taken, I recommended this. In and other live sessions that I've taken, I've recommended this. See, we'll have to. So the problem that happens with VRC is that in many cases we are solving the paper with a lot of fear or a lot of issues, and we are doing it fast. So my suggestion would be that, let's say the next 6-7 days, right? Let's take RC. You pick up 4 RCs. or 3 RCs. How many? Just pick up a set number of RCs. Right? You solve your attempt number 1 should be your imagined attempt on the day of the CAT, which means, okay, I'm going to read the passage at my pace. I'm going to solve it at my pace. If I don't know, if I'm getting confused, I'm going to skip and move. Every single advice that people give you in terms of what strategy should be, you don't care about the score. You just care about the process, and then you'll keep it simple. वैसे attempt करो without fear of scores. That is your attempt number 1 under the time limit, right? Your attempt number 2 is you resolve the questions. You're trying to correct. Don't look at the solutions or anything. Just resolve the question. See that if you want to change your answer or something. That's attempt number 2. And then you look at this answer key and then analyze. Do this every single day if you still have a lot of flexibility, because you want to build that confidence, right, in your ability, confidence. You have to back yourself. So that's something I would do. I would also strongly recommend that in VA there'll be some areas you have trouble with. I will absolutely recommend, whether it is sentence placement, I don't know whether sentence placement will be there or not, or odd sentence or paragraph jumble, paragraph summary. Pick up those questions from the mock that you've already solved. Go through the questions once again, right? And then think about, all right, if let's say if I have to look at this question, what are the how do I answer this particular question? The problem with VA is because the big problem with VA is we end up reading these sentences 3 or 4 times. If there is a paragraph jumble question, we are reading it 4 times, 5 times, you get 0 marks. What is the point? You have to read it once, read it twice, and get something out. So you want to have a very so sometimes what happens is that when you do RC, you're only left with 8 minutes for VA. Fair enough, accept it. So then you say that, okay, let me for example, I'm sure that there'll be a lot of tests that is available with you. A lot of sectional tests maybe you're not picked up. So maybe just pick up the VA questions, give 8 minutes, and in that you do everything at your pace and see what score can come out. These are the stuff that you can still do. Other thing that I will recommend is you keep reading articles. I mean, in your free time, I'm sure that all you require to read something is about 5 minutes. How many 5 minutes be wasted in a day? I'm not even asking you to read 4,000 words. Let's say if you take A1 essay 4,000, read 500 words and stop it now. So if there are still passages that troubles you, it may be, let's say, passages on science if it troubles you, or some passages, just read a few articles on this. Continue read it, and keep things very, very simple. So make it very task based in the next few days, right? Next coming days, very task based, and believe that if I build amount of confidence in myself, I can even in 10 days, lot many things can change. And one last thing I want to say is that never don't start. I think the biggest problem in the RT is that you only your mind is only filled with all those tests that your score was low. Okay, because you're always worrying, oh shit, what if this is cat? I mean, that's your bigger problem. I think that you have to go back and look at the tests that you actually, maybe why don't you look at some of these tests that actually got the higher marks. Look at the test once again. Look at what you did in the particular test. Just be with the test, spend time with the test once again, in the sense that revisit what you've been thinking. I think that it's very, very important to reinforce those celebrate those tests where actually did really well, right? Rather than worrying about this. Even if, let's say, in some of the mocks that you're going to take, your score goes down, it's still okay. All we need is on the day, on the 24th of November, when we read the particular passage, I'm going to read stuff at my pace. If I get confused, I'm going to skip or make a decision, whatever decision that you want to do. I will not get unnecessary trouble, worried about all this timer. I will back myself up. I will have a lot of confidence in myself, because the only thing that matters at that point in time is me and sort of the question that I see on the screen. So that's what I would say to VRC.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, anything you'd like to add to that, GP?
No, I think that's fine. Gejo has covered in fair amount of depth, so nothing to add.
So probably can just take a couple of questions then. Students have posed questions regarding this. So yeah, Gejo.
My scores are not consistent. Sometimes it's 99%, other time is don't even touch 95 percentile. It's always VRC which determines how am I going to do. My initial 15 minutes of VRC determines. Why are you making these statements? that my initial 15-month VARC determines performance. Why are you making these statements, right? This doesn't make any sense. Why would the initial 15 minutes determine your performance? Why would it make sense? So why would the initial, what do you mean that initial 15 minutes, who you are, is going to change everything that happens in the future? It's all this in your mind. So it's fine. Sometimes I can tell you across board, no, nobody's VRC score is going to be consistent. It's such a paper, and in some cases, it is not even like the paper that I've got the highest mark was the easiest paper. वो भी नहीं है. Okay, it's all. I think that what the something would have happened in terms of the way in which you approach one, two passages or something in some of these tests, and I think that the scores that your higher scores would be the scores where you got BA questions correct. Okay, so let's don't start by saying the initial 15. Why don't you, let's say, Mridul, I would recommend something. Why don't you take, let's say, 3-4 sectional, but not do anything in the first 15 minutes? Sit quiet in the first 15 minutes. Okay, create panic. Okay, don't do anything. Okay, and then start solving the paper in only the next 25 minutes. Try, na. And let's say if you have a problem, face it. No. So why would I say that? So that's sort of what I'll say.
Just one last probably question.
Sir, I'm unable to get more than 56 marks to be a part of the paper. Okay, I don't know, Himanshi, I have a question. What have you done about it? Okay, for example, have you picked up, let's say, 100 paragraph jumble question, solved it? Have you picked up 100 in the when you found a problem? Had you picked up the question that you solved, or the question had you solved? Had you fought to ensure that the score improves? Did we use brute force to say that I'm going to now take it upon me? Then I will work on, let's say, this particular thing, and I will sit and work on this. My gut feeling is that is likely not the case. Okay, now, second of all, let's say that even if you hit about 60% accuracy, let's assume that you hit 50, 60, 50% accuracy in the, assuming there are going to be 2 paragraph jumble and 2 odds in its questions. 50% accuracy, that is 6 marks. There is no negative marking. Right, and the remaining one, you assume that you get about 66% accuracy, 60% accuracy. You got about, let's say, 3 questions out of 4 questions correct, or 2 out of 4. You will end up still getting score which is very close to about 12ish, and 12, that is a good score. So if you have got 12, all I need to get to, let's say, something like 95% is just 12 more marks from RC, and 12 more marks from RC is a net 4 questions correct. So we can still work on the VA, right? The idea that so some reason, because I don't know on the day of the CAT what question is going to be easy or difficult. I don't know anything. Right? I have to be prepared to ensure that those 8 questions of VA and the RC, so odd questions of VA, if let's say if there is a sort of very straightforward, easy odds question comes, I need those 3 marks out. So this is what I would advise to you, Himanshi.
Correct. Let's move on. Let's move on to the third section, DILR. Yeah, GP, over to you. Your recommendation for DILR.
Yeah. So, I talked a little while ago. I talked about the process. If there's one section where process is the most important, is DILR, because this is the place where if you don't follow the process, it can be disastrous. For example, the last mock, many students did not go through all the sets, ended up leaving the easiest set, which was that mean median mode wala set, jo bhi tha. Okay? So when I look at DILR, I will always say that please follow the process and don't worry about anything else. So when you are taking the mocks now or the section test in the next 10 days, please make sure you stick to the process and don't change your process for the sake of a paper. Okay, stick to a process. It will become a habit on the day of the paper. You will do it without thinking. Second thing, something which I keep repeating multiple times, is the revision part. All the CAT paper that you have done, all the mocks you have done, focus on the paper, the sets which are in the middle, which you can solve but you get confused. You can solve but take your time. These are you can solve but you are not 100% sure about them. Now these are the sets which you need to revise. I'm not saying any of these sets will come. No, none of these sets will come. But end of the day, when you go through those sets so many times, when you look at some other set which is similar, you'll be able to immediately understand what kind of question which will come from there. You'll be able to understand what is the kind of data that you have to tabulate, what is the kind of table you have to make, or how to make the tabulation. For example, again, if I look at the paper, the last mock, the third set, which was the hexagonal tiles wala set, the way to tabulate was that data was not to recreate that hexagonal tile diagram. It was to create a table out of it. So when you revise, those things become a part and parcel of you. It's the same thing as saying that if you look at that formula list daily basis, you'll start remembering things. So I belong to a school of thought which says that as far as CAT and all these exams are concerned, it is not the most intelligent person who will do well. It's the person who's been doing the same thing consistently again and again. Because in a paper like this, you need to just pick out what is doable and do it, unlike a JE kind of a paper where you have to do everything. So please stick to the process, keep doing the same things again and again, and in the paper, DILR will then look much more easier.
Perfect. I'll just pick up this question because it's come 3 to 4 times. Can you explain what's going to happen in your Varanasi seminar? So the Varanasi seminar tomorrow, we'll just go ahead and discuss a little bit more, regarding what we're talking about today, but go a little deeper and also talk about the non-CAT exams, what you should be doing post-CAT, how to prepare for ZAT, NMAT, SNAP, and all the other exams, because putting all your eggs in one basket is not something that, you should focus on. You should look at it from a holistic perspective. So that's the answer. I am Hunk. You posted it 4 times, so I just picked it up here. From a DILF perspective, Gejo, anything that you would like to add?
Nothing. I think no. GPS covered it pretty well. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So let's quickly keep moving on. Okay. I think I did state this, right? Myth के बारे बात करेंगे. एक दो यहाँ पे है. एक that the faculty वाला, that most of the faculty are in a particular slot. That one also I want to talk about, and GP, I'll give you that one. Different difficulty level of slots. Jijo, why don't you start with this?
Yeah. I mean, but see, first, level of difficulty, no two tests can have the same level of difficulty, na. So even if that is true across board. So if let's say if I look at a test known as LSAT in the US, which conducts for the law program there, right? So if that test, even in those tests, there is no way you can have absolute same level of difficulty. GMAT cannot do it. GRE, no test can do it. So which means they have some sort of a scaling process, right? So in this scaling process, what they assume is that they have sort of the way in which to compare between two test sets. So this different difficulty level of slots just doesn't matter. The second thing is that if the paper is going to be easy for you, it's going to be easy for all. If the paper is difficult for, it's difficult for all. At the end of the day, is a relative test. So it is very, very important. What normally happens is that other thing about difficulty is that people don't know what difficulty even means. Every time I remember after the DLR, after the CAT, GP comes out and says DLR asan tha, and everybody around is like, shit, it's so difficult, every time GP comes, ye to asan tha paper. Okay, so what is going to happen after slot 1 is there'll be the maximum voice will be all people who are victim mentality. They'll say, shit, I should have, the RC was unreadable, the DLR said were out of the blue, math was this, and the people assessment of what they went through will be more. And the second thing is, people say paper to easy tha, I felt very nice. What do you mean? Why you feel nice? Paper is easy. You have to get score. You have to kill others, no, in this particular paper. Okay, I'm not saying literally. I'm saying figuratively. So there's इसका कुछ है नहीं. At the end of the day, what matters is the question that you see on the screen, question by question. Keep making decisions. That's what you look at it. Don't assume anything. Don't. I mean, that's ये इतना ही है. Yeah. Done.
Perfect. And different difficulty होगा यार, normalize हो जाएगा, इतना क्या सोचना है. And this brings me to my second question, GP. This has been going on in the groups a lot. I spend a little bit of time there along with Ravi, Naveen, and all. There is supposedly this thing that a great chunk or a great proportion of teachers, some of who love attempting the entire paper and end up scoring 100 percentile as well, a great proportion of them are actually writing the paper in a particular slot. So everybody who's in that slot now feels normalization will go against me. I will not end up scoring well. ये तो गलत है, ये नहीं होना चाहिए. So GP, over to you with respect to that.
With respect to sorry.
Okay. So I'll just repeat it. A great chunk of students feel
That faculty taking a paper
the
in a
faculty
particular.
wala, the faculty wala. That
but ये
a great
data कहाँ
proportion of
से आया
faculty
है?
एक slot.
How can all faculty be in a single slot? पहली चीज, ठीक है? So if I look at the first thing, within career launcher, I know of about 50 of us who are taking the paper. We are by and large split between the 3 slots. Okay? So कोई guarantee नहीं है किसका. And I would believe outside career launcher, many of the faculty members take. It is fair to assume that all of us will be almost equally split between the 3. 33 होगा, 30, 40, 35 हो जाएगा, क्या फर्क पड़ना उससे. But what is our number? 200, 250? I don't think it's going to be more than that, and this is a highly ambitious number. Secondly, तुम लोग ना, the most of the students tend to give ज़्यादा भाव to the faculty. ठीक है? Most of you think that faculty जाएगा वो 99.99% 100 नहीं भी आया तो 99.99 लेके आएगा. Let me be very honest with you. Outside career launcher, most of the faculty की औकात नहीं है कि 95 भी ला सके. ठीक है? Yes, out of the 200, 250 people, there will be some 20, 30 of us who can get 99.9 plus or whatever. But many of us don't even mark an answer. In the last 30 odd years, I have marked answers only in one section in English just to prove a point a couple of years ago. Apart from that, I don't mark an answer. And similarly, I know there are many others who don't mark an answer. Secondly, supposing Gautam Bhawan ने पेपर दिया, उसका 99.98 आ गया. Now what? Is he going for the interview? No. He's not going to impact any one of you. So how does it really matter? To me, this is a stupid thing which goes around trying to create reasons for my failure. कि अच्छा ना गौतम बाबा ने पेपर दिया था ना मेरे स्लॉट में इसलिए मैं फेल हो गया. भैया गौतम बाबा ने तो ये काम करने से रोका था क्या? So this is a stupid thing, but we can't help it. And people who are part of this discussion are typically the ones who are not studying. And the ones who are studying are not bothered about such discussion. वो काम करते हैं, अच्छा स्कोर लाते हैं, आगे चल देते हैं. So my suggestion is just get rid of all these stupid things. Ultimately, your performance is dependent upon you. Okay. I'll just add one more thing to what the slide in front of me is, which about different difficulty level of slots. Something Gejo said right at the beginning. I hope students have registered that. I'm repeating it because I'm not sure how many registered. You are competing only against the students in your slot. Rest normalization will take care. If you're in slot 1, you don't have to worry about what will happen in slot 2 and 3. If slot 2 is easier, your scores will go up. Normalization will take care of it. So just focus on your slot and don't worry about different difficulty levels of other slots. And stop worrying about faculty taking paper. Most of the faculty की औकात नहीं है 95 के ऊपर लाने की, और जिनकी औकात है हमें से ज्यादातर लोग लेते भी नहीं है पेपर, मार्क भी नहीं करते आंसर.
Go one step ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, Gejo, sorry. I'll just make one point and then I'll transfer to you. ये every year 100 percentile इतनों का आता है.
Gautam, we have lost you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I think there was a net issue. I hope I'm back. Every year ये 100 percentile इतने लोगों का आता है. I hope students have realized that most of the people who end up scoring that 100 percentile are students. कितने फैकल्टी होते हैं? एक होता है शायद, या कभी 2 हो जाते हैं. वो स्टूडेंट्स ही तो है. In fact, last year the 3 highest scores in CAT scores, forget percentile as 100%. The 3 highest scores were students. Even the faculty who scored 100 percentile or faculty scored less than those students. Students से ज़्यादा डरो यार. You're competing against them. They are the ones who are scoring.
This I'm saying this discussion कोई logic ही नहीं इसमें. Okay. The पहला जो चीज है, you can't stop faculty from taking test. मतलब you are allowed to take the test. CAT ने बोला नहीं है. Even if I'm 90-year-old, I will probably write CAT. Okay, you can't stop you from taking the test. Number 1. Number 2, you want analysis of the test. How do you give an analysis without taking the test? Number 3, in many cases, people go after, acha, this is 100% means much faculty hai. Okay, so you actually choose faculty based on their prowess in terms of how well they're taking the test. And now you're sitting and thinking, shit, if the faculty take this, what is going to happen to me? What will happen? Nothing's going to happen to you. The faculty has been taking the test. I think from so many years, I have never felt that faculty taking the test, the normalization formula that they have will somehow, and then I will absolutely agree with GP. ये तो कुछ किसका औकात है to get to sort of get कौन सा कितना said ikka dukka once upon a time people will get the percentile. There are some people who keep taking the test and getting very percentile, but I don't think that I don't think that those kind of people who is at least this script you should not have to us, right? Most of us don't mark, right? Most of us don't sort of most of us don't mark. If you have a problem with some sir, go talk to them. Nah. Either then, at least we don't create this problem, I'm sure.
I'll pick up this question, relevant. GP, probably you can pick it up. मेरा इसमें बहुत सिंपल आंसर है. कोई मुझसे पूछता तो 10 दिन है, कर क्या रहे हो? अगर इतनी टेंशन है, पढ़ लो यार. फिर कितना ही टाइम लगेगा? Would be my answer. But yeah, you know, cause for worry. मैंने क्यूब नहीं पढ़ा, क्यूब आ गया. प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट नहीं पढ़ा, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट आ गया. और कुछ भी सोच रहे हैं, मैंने ये नहीं पढ़ा, वो आ गया. मैं क्या करूंगा DILR में?
कुछ नहीं, छोड़ दूंगा.
Yeah.
और कर क्या सकता हूँ? Is there anything else I can do? If I read the data, I don't understand it, I don't know how to solve it, how to take it forward, I'll leave the thread. Good for me, na? Now I know I have to worry about the remaining 3 or 4 sets. एक को तो निकाल दिया ना. Again, this is what I mean. People look for reasons to create pressure on themselves. And rightly did. It is not cube or project. I did not study something. Or in the paper something has come which I don't understand at all. Great, leave it, move on. अगला सवाल देखो, इस पे चिंता करने से कुछ नहीं होगा. Secondly, I have a very simple rule which I follow. Rule 1 is अगर मुझसे नहीं होता तो किसी से नहीं होता. If I don't understand, no one else is going to understand. If I can't solve, no one else will be able to solve. That is my rule 1. Okay. So what that means is, it is not going to matter because no one will solve. If I am able to solve, that's the rule 2 is, if I am able to solve, no one else is able to solve. बस मेरे को तो आता है, मैं तो तैयारी की है, शिद्दत से पढ़ाई की थी, मैंने कर दिया, बाकी तो डफर है, गधे नहीं कर पाएंगे. In the paper, I will always be positive. If in the paper start becoming negative, when there was that question which had come earlier, पहला 15 minutes में if I am able to do well, it's great, otherwise my paper goes south. If in the first 15 minutes you are not able to do well, you carry that baggage in the next 25 minutes and hence your paper goes south. Instead of saying, okay, this looks difficult, मुझसे नहीं हुआ, बाकियों से भी नहीं होगा, चलो आगे चलते हैं, आगे आसान सवाल मिल जाएंगे. Instead of being positive about the paper, you start worrying about it. Shit, my career is gone. I'll have to go through the whole process again next year. इस साल नहीं हुआ, पता नहीं अगले साल. You are not focusing on the paper. You are thinking of something which is completely external and outside your control. And that is the reason why things go south. So just stick to the basic, which I know I'm repeating, but I want you to stick to the process. The best outcomes happen when you stick to a process and don't deviate just because of minor hiccups like this.
Something that Mahendra Singh Dhoni used to state, right? All we can worry about and focus on is the processes. Results will take care of themselves.
Yes.
Okay. Important, I think. Sometimes people end up missing this. You really can't afford falling ill on the day of CAT, right? You don't want that to happen. You've put in 1 year, full fight मार लिया, सब कुछ कर लिया, mock भी कर लिया, हमारी बातें भी सुन ली और फिर पता चला you get up in the morning and you're feeling unwell. If it happens, bad luck, you can't do much about it, but at least try ensuring that that doesn't happen. Avoid it as much as possible, which means last 7, 8, 10 days leading up to CAT, at least ensure you're eating healthy. Focus on that part of it as well. Don't just these are intangibles that we always talk about, which end up becoming important. This is one of those intangibles. So do focus on eating healthy. Try your level. I can't say avoid getting sick, जैसे कि sick purposely होते हो. If that's not what we mean. Basically try avoiding putting yourself in situations. If you're in Delhi NCR, if you can afford it, stay home. Air purifier के साथ. Next 8-10 दिन pollution से जितना दूर रह पाओ. You could be a suggestion that I could give. That is how you could avoid. But that's about it. Anything, Gejo, GP here?
Gautam, एक सवाल है तेरे लिए. I thought I'll pick it up again.
Sir, in 7 why not see open for everyone? Just please drop in. Drop in, let's have a chat, meet me during the session, and post the session also. If in case there are any doubts, stay back, let's have a chat, please drop in.
So
It's open to
non-enrolled,
everybody.
non-CL students are also welcome.
If you're in and around Varanasi tomorrow, I am in Varanasi, drop in tomorrow. I'm in Varanasi day after as well. So in case there is anybody here from CAT 2025, drop in day after. We'll be at IIT BHU. In case आप आए हो कि next, let me know 1 year beforehand how I will feel next year at this time in case you're attending this session. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I think very important, and this is the crux of everything that everybody that Gejo, GP, and I have been stating till now. कर लिया ना, खुद पे विश्वास रखो. Like, love yourself. Vishwas rakho. And I love what Gejo generally used to turn around and state. Go in front of the mirror and say sorry to yourself if you don't trust yourself. I think that's one of Gejo's lines, if I'm not wrong. He can state it better than I'm stating. But yeah, trust yourself. Yeah, you've put in the hard yards. You've worked hard. You've hopefully you'll put your best foot forward. But no point turning around and stating now I don't remember everything. Now I don't remember this. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You are just feeling that. Get rid of that feeling. Don't focus on all of that. वो feeling आ भी रही है. Don't pay too much heed to that. Try diverting your attention. There's not a lot that you can do at this point in time. You have 10 days. Go through a formula list. Go through your bookmark questions. Go through a couple of somebody who had just stated what if cubes come up. अगर उस specific topic से डर है 10 दिन है यार पढ़ लो. You have enough time even at this point in time to handle inherent fears that you have created for your own self. So go ahead, combat it. Don't worry too much. GP, Gejo, anything to add here? We just a couple of slides from the end. Anything that you would want to add here? Before you all answer, very important question. Which CL mentor has slot 2? There are 2 here.
GP and Gejo. Both of us are in slot 2. My favorite slot, Gejo's worst slot.
अब याद रखना, in case somebody doesn't do well, they will turn around and say GP and Gejo इधर थे. Please let them know you all do not mark.
Yeah.
नहीं देखो, normally we improve the percentile of everyone by not marking any answer.
See, mine is C 33333 in DLR.
I just leave the paper blank. I leave the paper all the sections.
जो किसी एक दिन 100 percentile आ जाएगा.
Yeah.
किसी एक दिन.
वैसे DLR no, I don't know औकात तो out of people think too much ना. ऐसा करके I score 100 कहाँ है इतना? नहीं है मतलब DLR I can get.
Gejo, what's your center this time?
This is about it's close to my house, but it's about 1 hour away from
Trivandrum.
Yeah.
I am in Delhi. Someone was asking which location.
Some very, very interesting questions are coming in.
ले जाओ उसको देने के लिए और कुछ नहीं कर सकते. उसको खांसी है तो है. There's nothing you can do about these things. I'll give you example of centers where since the paper where paper was on Sunday and साथ में गुरुद्वारा था and वहाँ पे चल रहा था. You can't do anything. Yeah. So just these are things you have to live with.
So, but this is what I'll tell you. No, why can't you take a few tests by opening the door, sitting next to the traffic, ask people to come around and make noise? I think that if you have a worry, if you have a worry, why can't we create situation to address those worries? No, अगर को बोल रहा है, what if I don't know cube? अरे what if I don't know cube? Either you ignore it, or if you have a problem, deal with it. So, for example, what I said that this is going to happen now. So there are situations, circumstances that may happen, which is not in your control, but you can obviously create scenarios like this and see how you navigate. No, so ensure that people ensure that take a few sort of tests when there is a lot of noise. And I'm sure a lot of people have already do this. If I take a poll here, a lot of people have done something like this. That they create scenarios of
I'll actually go one step ahead. When I was preparing, if I go back 10 years, 2011 CAT is when I wrote it. I used to actually tell my mother what are the 10, 12 different things you should do. Suddenly you should switch off the main switch, electricity is gone. Please come, open the door, keep knocking, throw a glass, switch off the fan when I'm writing the mock. Random things I used to state. Because it's an intangible. Why not prepare for it? Who says you can't prepare for this? So, I totally am for it. In fact, NMAT just wrote it, on Sunday, I think. The place where we were taking the NMAT exam, right behind that, there was some construction work happening. Luckily, NMAT this year has decided to give earplugs. So you could put in the earplug and it would help you. CAT is not going to give you earplug and all. Get used to it. Go, kal Guru Purab hai. Go next to some Gurudwara and write a mock. Within 100, 200 meters of a Gurudwara and write a mock tomorrow. Nice way of practicing.
But you can carry earplugs with you, na?
GP, that's allowed.
Just carry it with you. What is the worst that will happen? नहीं कर ले जाने देंगे, नहीं जाने देंगे.
They'll not allow 100% because they'll say you're going to talk to people. There's some technology that you're using. सब करके.
Earplugs कान में डाल के जाना. No one is going to check your ears.
Okay. So hopefully we've managed to confuse you all enough with our different strategies, with the different things that we've stated. But yeah, I think all three of us were more or less on the same page. So after everything that we've stated, I'll take you to the most important slide. Something that Gejo has already referred to. Is this is what you should be doing over the course of the next 10 days, specifically over the course of the last 3 days. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, please, for God's sake, kuch mat karna. At max, go ahead. If you have that formula book, just go through the formula. That's it. Or you bookmarked a couple of questions, you want to read them. Spend 1 hour every morning to do it. But other than that, don't write a mock, don't write anything. Okay. So please don't go ahead and do anything. Go ahead, relax, chill. And I always have recommendations. If you want to know a couple of good TV series to watch, ask me. I will let you know. You want to know a couple of good 2 or 3 good movies to watch, we'll let you know. GP will give you a Kishore Kumar movie. GP, I finally watched it. You recommended it on 30 Days to Cat.
कैसी लगी?
Oh, I loved it.
The best movie possibly that I've seen.
Oh, absolutely. This and Jaane Bhi Do Yaro. These two, I think, take the cake for me. And the old Golmaal. So yeah, go ahead.
It's सवाल है यार, पता नहीं. Can you just repeat your question? I seem to have missed your question.
If I'm not wrong, GP, the question was, please don't answer anything in slot 2. I will super chat.
हाँ, वो तो वैसे नहीं कहता है मैं. वो मैं वैसे नहीं कहता हूँ. So sorry. So there's no issue at all. As I said, only it was once just to prove a point. I marked the answers to English answers question, and उसमें भी I did not mark anything in DILR or quant. I ended up with a 55 percentile.
Bilkul, Mehul, please go ahead. Especially if you're in slot 1, the best way to get used to slot 1 is start getting up at 5 o'clock to watch the Border Gavaskar Trophy, starting from the 22nd. So practice for the Border Gavaskar Trophy. You have to get up at 5:30 to watch the matches. Brilliant. Watch the first session before coming to CAT. I would do it. I'm being very serious. If I was writing CAT, I would want to relax in that morning. I would watch the first session and come. Hopefully, India not batting, and if they are batting, they've not lost more than a wicket. So all positive vibes going in to CAT. So I would surely go ahead and recommend these things. Cricket is something that really helps me relax. If it helps you relax, do it. If it is something that you take very personally, India हार गया, India के 5 विकेट गिर गए, तो मत देखना. Anything जहाँ से एकदम रिश्ता बना लेते हो ना, मत देखना, please. But yeah, please go ahead, chill, relax. Gejo had just stated sometime back, I don't want to chill. I don't know how to chill. Please go ahead and catch that video of Gejo's on Reddit. You will know how to chill.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think that's it from our end. Any last moment tips, tricks? We will catch up with you all sometime next week. Of that, I'm certain. Last 10 days बोल के ये तो होगा नहीं. We don't catch up next week. Guaranteed मिलेंगे. But still, any last words of wisdom, GP Gejo?
नहीं यार, अगले हफ्ते के लिए छोड़ देते हैं अभी.
Perfect.
अभी बस काम करो.
Perfect. That's it then. Relax, chill, enjoy. But you still have 10 days, like we've been stating. Doesn't mean that relaxation starts today. Do put your best foot forward over the course of the next 7-8 days. Go ahead, practice, do take those 3 to 4 mocks that we were stating. But the last 2-3 days, just relax as much as possible. And in case you're in Varanasi, drop in tomorrow. We'll catch up.
Okay,
That's
then.
it from
Good
our
night.
end.
All the best.
All the best.
Good night.
Good night.
Where to find the new section is